Being a minister's kid, I saw a lot of ministry orphans. I saw a lot of ministry widows, people that their spouses or their families were completely connected to ministry, but the kid was like an afterthought. And so I don't think that that's intentional. I think it slowly slips through our hands, and we come to a point where we either have to make a decision. And I remember coming to my decision. I had our 2 boys. They were young. Actually, it was my first. And I was up on stage. At that point, I was the worship pastor at our church, and I was leading worship, and I had our infant, our little guy, Judah. And I remember the person who was supposed to hold him couldn't hold him, and so she passed him to an usher.
Oh, gosh.
And the usher,
Mom
I
panic.
was on the stage singing through rehearsal, and I see the usher take the baby through and outside. Through our lobby. And at that moment, I felt, and I think all moms go through this thought of, I need to do something. I don't know what to do because this is my old life. This is what I would be true to and honest to, but this is my child and I've got to fight. And I remember the Holy Spirit like talking to me at that moment, and he said, Havilah, this is like no joke. You go out there and get your child. This is your baby, and everyone will just have to be okay with it. And I remember the Lord just saying, like, you have a choice right now. You can either ignore it and say it is no big deal. It's church. Everyone's safe. It's fine. Which isn't
that's
true,
not true.
at all.
That's not true.
Or you're going to be a good steward, and this is your first ministry is your baby. And I remember getting off and going and getting him and making decisions like, we'll never do that again. But it was a hard moment. I feel embarrassed even talking about it because I think a good mom would have naturally got off the stage and ran and had never done that. But I was in a dilemma. Like, I remember as a mom feeling the shame of, I want to be here and do what I'm supposed to be doing, but I have a baby over here. And I wish that I had immediately responded, but I didn't. It was a long delayed response, and then going and getting him and really making a decision. It was not a good day. I don't necessarily want to see reruns.
You were ministering before you had kids.
I was.
Yeah,
I was in ministry, and I valued being at home with my kids. My mom was at home with us, and I valued that. I mean, I loved that, but I also had this desire to be me fully, which is like, live in my calling and grace. And so Ben and I, my husband and I, we really came to a place where we had to make a decision. Am I going to be somewhat of a working mom, but also be at home? And how do we navigate that? So we had to realize that this was a family call. It wasn't a Havilah going and making her dreams come true. And that this was something that we were called to, and we were all going to make sacrifices to live this out.